Coming up on the Kirby on Sports podcast, a topic we know all too well, and we're going to cover it in style. Football. Next. Yes. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Kirby on Sports podcast. I am not your host. Let's introduce the Stooges on this podcast. Dum 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 dum. Introducing first, a man who needs no introduction, but is getting one anyway. If loving him was red, then losing him was blue like you've never known. He is the former Kirby on Sports PickEm's champion and the number one contender on this podcast, Dan the Weapon Dembski. And now we introduce a man who put all his faith last night in a baker with the last name of Mayfield. We all knew he was trouble when he walked in. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the founder, CEO, and your host, Josh Kirby.
Let's go.
Thank you, Bruce.
And finally, this man has been called an anti-hero, the heel of the pod. Some say he's like snow at the beach, weird but effing beautiful. He is the reigning, defending, undisputed Kirby on Sports PickEm's champion, Carlos, the Swiss Army Knife, Martinez.
And the levels just went red.
That was awesome, man. That was really cool. That was really cool.
The levels just went red,
I can't
boys.
even lie. I can't even lie. That was awesome.
Well, welcome to another edition. That was very nice of you. Thank you for the introduction, Carlos. As always,
that's how you do an intro, Kirby. That's how you do an intro.
All right. All right. All right.
That was awesome.
Right.
It was also, but nobody knows what we're talking about in depth. Football's such a broad topic there, Carlos.
Okay. Football. Next. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about football. I don't have to explain exactly what we're talking about. We're going to talk about everything.
Let's get it. Let's get it. But first and foremost, our sponsors, we got to thank for all of their support. PM Plus Reserves, Shenandoah Primitives, Dr. Dave Leadership Corporation, Mark Francis, with Icon Real Estate, Barrett, Pest, and Termite Services, Shenandoah Music. We also have Mark Lynch with Guild Mortgage, and the official energy drink of the Kirby on Sports podcast, Don't Sleep Energy. You use our new promo code KOS Podcast. You get 12% off on Amazon or their website. And something else cool, Dan Dembski across the way in studio.
What's up,
you
man?
see our handshake right there.
Yeah, it's
So
awkward.
I didn't get an invite. I want the podcast audience to understand. I didn't get an invite.
This was the last moment. I do apologize, but we're going to make it happen. We will make it happen.
You said that the 3 other times that this happened last minute. It's okay. It's fine. You guys just want to be surrounded by greatness. It's okay. I understand. It's overwhelming.
He was right.
I understand. It's overwhelming to be around greatness. But you know what? It's fine.
You know what they say, though? If you're touched by greatness, maybe some of it will rub off on you. Probably not, but...
Well, clearly you guys don't want greatness to rub off on you, especially after that intro.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Who knows?
All right, boys, I think we should get started.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about our first very exciting matchup. Last week, we were talking about the Chargers and if they are in trouble. Now, the other question here, are the Vikings in trouble because the Chargers beat them?
I still think the Chargers are in trouble because they try to throw that game away. Brandon Staley tried to give that game away.
I mean, just looking at what happened with the numbers the Vikings put up, I'm like, how do they fall to 0-3? The Vikings, with all the weapons they have, how do you let them fall to 0-3? There's something wrong here, too. And I'm not taking away from the fact that there is something wrong with the Los Angeles Chargers, but you have to look here at what's going on in Minnesota. Something isn't adding up, and I'm not really sure why.
Dan, you want to go first?
Oh, no, you go ahead, Carlos.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, look, it's the defense, in all honesty. I mean, the offense is putting up the numbers, but that defense is abysmal. And honestly, that's what a lot of people were kind of hesitant about the Vikings for coming into the season. Their defense got worse. And, you know, again, last season was kind of an anomaly. They were 11-1 throughout the whole season because they obviously lost in the playoffs, but in one possession games, and now they're losing all these one possession games. It's not sustainable to keep playing these close games and coming out on top. And yeah, quite frankly, I mean, it was just, I don't know, man. I can't necessarily pinpoint what exactly is wrong, but I think it's the defense mostly that's letting this team down.
Yeah, I mean, they have the 27th ranked defense so far this young season, and a top 5, top 10 offense. So there's really no reason why they should be 0-3. You know, they need to have at least a mid-tier defense. I think if they did, they'd at least be 2-1. I don't know about 3-0, but yeah, it's just crazy. It kind of is a problem with what happens in a lot of cases when you spend all your money on your quarterback. You're not able to go out and get some of these big name free agents for your defense. And you kind of have to build your defense through the more, the draft and other means like that. So I think that's one thing the Vikings have really struggled with. And yeah, I'm with Carlos. It's hard to really pinpoint one particular thing, but you have to look at their defense. I mean, Kirk Cousins played a pretty solid game, especially throwing for over 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. Obviously, throwing the game-ending interception. I believe it was in the end zone too. With like 7 seconds left or something. So
they had a close chance to win.
They had a chance to win. That's the big thing too. And you could also look at Kirk Cousins and say, this is why you're getting paid the big money. Like, you're expected to go out and make that touchdown pass to get them the win. So, yeah, I don't really have a particular answer to what you said. They're definitely in trouble though. I mean, 0-3, it's not looking promising,
so
man. If you go 0-3, they don't generally make the playoffs,
especially in this new format. So here's the question: should the Jets pick up the phone and call the Vikings and try to set up a trade for Kirk Cousins? Because it's clear that the Viking season is done.
And
Kirk Cousins not coming back. The Jets desperately need a quarterback.
Anyone
for how talented that team is. Zach Wilson is completely ruining it.
He's not.
Do you make the 1-year deal with Kirk Cousins? Just have him for this season. Aaron Rodgers is going to come back next season. Kirk Cousins can then go on and do whatever it is, do whatever and go sign with another team. Because I think this is the last year on his deal. If you're the Jets, do you pick up the phone and do you make the call? Because they really realistically only need a quarterback that can actually game manage.
I'll give you an interesting answer here. If I were the Jets, then yes, I would make that call. I think it would be the smartest decision. But based off what everything I'm hearing, the Jets like Zach Wilson, and they just picked up Trevor Siemian. So,
Oof. Oh god.
yeah, Dan didn't like that on Twitter when he saw that.
I didn't like it either. I was like,
What a
Trevor
joke.
Siemian, like,
Well, but if I were the Jets, I would absolutely 100% pick up the phone and make that call. See what it takes to pick up Kirk Cousins. Because Kirk
what would
Cousins,
they have to give up is the question. Like,
yeah, what would they have to give up?
Well, I mean, at least they already don't have to give up their first round pick to the Packers because the fact that Aaron Rodgers is not going to play those 70% of those snaps.
Mm-hmm.
So they lucked out there, so they keep that pick. I think you're right though, Kirby. It's about what the cost would be to trade for Kirk Cousins. What would the Vikings ask for? Would they ask for a first round pick? Is Kirk Cousins worth a first round pick? I don't know.
maybe.
I think that's. I mean,
he's paid first round pick money. I know that much.
I guess it's more of just like, it's like right now, like, is he really worth a first round pick? Like, what does he really accomplish? He hasn't accomplished. Like, Aaron Rodgers is one thing, right? Aaron Rodgers is, a future Hall of Famer, former, obviously, like three-time MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And it has multiple records. It's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, right? Kirk Cousins, while he's been successful in the NFL, he hasn't really accomplished anything. So is he worth a first round pick?
Tough to say.
I think some people would say yes, and some people would say no.
Well, they're also in a dire
you can say that about any topic, though.
They're in a dire situation. I feel like they would give up a first round pick because of the situation they're in now.
I like how I totally shifted this conversation to the Jets, and we're not even talking about the Jets.
It's true.
My fault.
It's an interesting question, though.
It's a very interesting question.
They have no hope right now. Like someone's got to come in there and give them a spark. It's not Trevor Siemian, I can tell you that right now.
But at the same time, then the question really is that then, okay, so you're going to trade away the franchise quarterback, right? Like let's say this happens for Minnesota, okay?
Yeah.
Do you sell the whole farm? Do you then try to do you get rid of Justin Jefferson?
I think you're going to have to, because he's going to want out, and I mean, I can't blame him.
He hasn't re-signed yet. No, he hasn't signed a new deal yet. They're working on it with him, but he hasn't signed it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
right now it's a race between him and CD as to who's going to get the extension first.
It should be CD, I believe, but that's just me. Yeah, I think they would have to start the rebuild or something. Because it's not working right now. I mean, you're 0-3 with that roster that, like both you guys said, is extremely talented. There's really no excuse for it. So, yeah, I think you'd almost have to start over, if you will. The Kirk Cousins experiment hasn't worked, so something's got to give, I think.
I mean, one playoff win in his tenure in Minnesota, it's just something doesn't equate there,
Yep.
Yeah.
He struggled in the big games. I mean, it's been one of his biggest criticisms. We talked about it with Justin Herbert last week. He just hasn't won any big games. Kirk Cousins really has not won any big games in his career. Man, you could point to 2 or 3 games that were decent, right? Decent wins, but none that stand out that are like fly off the charts. That's a big game win for Kirk Cousins. So yeah, I think he's towards the end of his big money days. I think he's going to be one of those guys who's just kind of a journeyman after this stage in his career, I think.
So another point, getting sort of back on this game, I know you have your gripes about Justin Herbert and everything, Carlos, but the stat line here, I got to admit,
his stat line is always good. It's just he doesn't deliver the goods.
Yeah, true, but
he doesn't deliver the dubs.
Yeah,
he did in this game though.
Oh, I see what you did there.
But
yeah,
no.
I mean, 40 for 47, 405, and 3 touchdowns.
Look, the question has the question has never been Justin Herbert's talent, Justin Herbert's, all this stuff. It's been about the fact that in the biggest moments, he always comes up short somehow. And it's not always his fault. Like Brandon Staley literally almost threw this game away somehow, trying to go for it on 4th down in your own territory, and doing a fullback dive, which made no sense. So to me, the story is not about necessarily Justin Herbert. While I do have my gripes with how the media treats him and how they put this man on a pedestal for some reason when he has accomplished absolutely nothing
every week.
So for me, the story is more of Brandon Staley got lucky. Like he got lucky because this was literally looking like another Chargers collapse. And I don't think he's still not off the hot seat because he literally almost costed them the game with that decision.
Yep.
That's why I thought this was going to be a really close game, and it ended up being a really close game that came down to the wire. But I think these are two teams that really have to take a hard look in the mirror and figure out what's going on here.
Well, both teams needed this game too. You're talking about 2 winless teams coming in, so it was one of those gotta have it type games. And usually it's the Chargers coming out on the short end of that stick. But yeah, Herbert played absolutely out of his mind. And like Carlos said, no one's denying that the guy doesn't have talent, that he's not a good quarterback. But part of separating from a good quarterback to great and elite is winning those big games, and he has never done that. So, this was an important win for the Chargers. It's almost impossible to make the playoffs if you start 0-3. So, good for them. The Vikings definitely have to look in the mirror and say, where do we go from here? Because something's not working right now. So,
I think for the Chargers, they didn't come out of this, scot-free. They obviously lost Mike Williams for the season. So that's another interesting. I mean, this Chargers team is super top heavy. Once you start losing those guys, I mean, there's not really a lot of depth behind them.
Yeah.
So we'll see how losing, and Mike Williams is such a huge weapon, especially against Kansas City. He always seems to have a big game against Kansas City, and they haven't even played Kansas City yet. So there's going to be the question, like, how does losing Mike Williams affect them? Obviously, they've played most of last season without him. He was injured a lot last season, and they honestly didn't look good without them, but they were also missing Keenan Allen at the same time. So they still have Keenan Allen, but Keenan Allen is also super, injury prone. So
good point.
There's no guarantees that he's going to make it through the season completely too. So we'll see what happens with the Chargers in terms of how this injury is going to affect them. But I don't know, man. It's still even being 1-2, it's still an uphill battle for them to get to the playoffs.
Yeah, he played in 13 games last year. So he played most of the games.
But he was hurt for a good majority of them, if I remember. He was not 100% healthy.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think he was battling injuries all season, if I remember correctly.
So he wasn't
he wasn't healthy.
I'm Mike Williams the way
he was.
We've seen him before.
Yep. Totally agree.
But 28-24 in that game, the final. A lot of interesting storylines that we will take into the weeks to come as both of these teams are looking to get back on track, even if they do get back on track. So that's something we're looking out for sure. Now moving on, and we have allotted a lot of time for this matchup, obviously, and we're going to start with the positives. Dan was able to attend the Ravens-Colts game. Unfortunately,
pouring freaking rain.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had some unforeseen
weather.
Circumstances that caused the outcome of the game to be what it was, which my heart was breaking for Dan. But
why are you still trying to make it seem like the refs lost, costed them this game? We literally have explained it to you multiple times.
I appreciate
Dan, go
it.
ahead.
I appreciate you caring and saying that, but yeah, they had tons of chances to put that game away and they couldn't do it.
But before you even get into the game,
sure,
what was the experience like this year in comparison to last year?
Well, it was raining, so I got there a lot closer to game time, went pretty much right in the stadium. Didn't really spend a lot of time
No.
in Ravens Walk or anything like that because we wanted to just get into the stadium as close to the game as possible, make sure we had our ponchos and everything. And so it was very different pregame experience. We didn't have a chance to really, have a drink or anything before the game, but no, it was fun. It was good. We actually took the train in too. We took the light rail, which is like the Maryland version of the Metro, which, by the way, I think that's a great way to do it. If we decide to do another Ravens game, it's free parking and you get on the train and it's super easy. So,
where do you get on the train from?
North Linthicum or something. Yeah. So it's like 6 train stops from the station.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. It's the way to go.
I would imagine a lot easier to get to too.
Yeah, and the traffic coming out of there, you don't have to get on 495 or anything, so you're perfect. You're golden nice. So yeah,
wow,
yeah, that's the biggest time saver for sure. So yeah, that part was cool. So yeah, we got there close to the game, and it was definitely not, it wasn't as it is typically for bad weather games. Definitely a lot of empty seats, and so not as electric as it was when we went last year, of course. And the weather obviously not cooperating as much. But it was still a good environment, still got loud at times. A lot of big third downs, a lot of big plays defensively for the Ravens. Their defense, I think, definitely played extremely well. Definitely made life hard for Gardner Minshew for most of the game. But yeah, like Kirby said, a couple of blown calls late in the game, but they had plenty of chances to put that game out of reach and to get all they needed was one first down, really, in those last 2 drives. They just need one first down. They couldn't get it. So it was a disappointing outcome for sure. Still a good environment. Like Carlos said with, I forget what game you were talking about to start with, Carlos, that it was a trap game. This was sort of a trap game for the Ravens.
Cowboys, Cardinals.
Cowboys, Cardinals.
That was off air, though.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm not concerned too much. I know we'll go in depth in this game in a minute, but it's only week 3. I think our defense is coming along nicely. I am concerned with the injuries we've had. Now 8 starters.
Bro, what hurt? What is in the water in Baltimore? Because this is 3 seasons in a row where you guys. It's 3 seasons in a row. They got to look into something because there's something wrong here. Like clearly, if these guys literally are getting hurt every year as Kirby slides out of frame.
Yes, you're definitely right. I think a big thing was they had this a trainer a couple years ago who they got rid of, who was actually the guy who gave COVID to like the whole team. If you guys remember during the COVID season when they had like all those players test positive at once, it was because of that particular coach was still coming into the facility when he was not feeling well, and he got a lot of the team sick. They kept him, and I thought maybe that was part of the problem. I think they have a new trainer now, but they replaced the turf a few years ago. I remember, I think when Joe Flacco tore his ACL, like I think it was 2015, somewhere around there, 2014, whatever that was. I think the season after, or 2 seasons after, they replaced the turf with grass. So can't blame that because I know a lot of times you could say that, but
it's still turf. Really weird. It is still turf, but
yeah. Yeah, it's just really bizarre. It's like every season, the one thing I hope for is just please no laundry list of injuries. And of course, you have guys that get hurt in training camp and early in the season. And J.K. Dobbins goes out in week 1, pretty much in like the second quarter. So once again, they have to pick themselves up and try to see what kind of depth they have, which really isn't a lot. I mean, They signed Kenyon Drake this week. He saw a lot of playing time. He fumbled the football in this game, which was in plus territory. So the Colts got it at like the 20-yard line, which was brutal. I mean, that was kind of the turning point in this game when they turned the football over twice with a Lamar Jackson fumble as well, which I don't think that one was his fault. He actually had a couple fumbles, but he recovered the one. The one was a terrible snap too, which I was like, the rainy weather, okay, I guess that happens, but
well, he also wasn't your starting center, so
yeah, we don't have a starting center or left tackle. I think it's left tackle, yeah. So that you could see that in the game too. They were definitely the guys who stepped in were not the starters for a reason. One of the guys who I think was even on like the practice squad player too. So it's brutal. It's brutal in Baltimore with the injuries, but you're still seeing Lamar struggle a little bit. He didn't have a passing touchdown. He did have 2 rushing touchdowns, so he sort of looked like his old self a little bit. But they had, like I said, they had several chances there late to put the game away, especially after the safety. That safety was crazy. When Moss couldn't get out of the end zone. But man, I thought that was the game right there. I think there was about 3.5 or 4 minutes left. But they just couldn't, for whatever reason. There was a combination of their play calling and just bad execution across the board. Some really head scratching play calling, including, for some reason, they like to run a halfback draw out of the shotgun. I'm like, is this like Greg Roman level stuff here? What are we doing? Supposed to have a new offensive coordinator. What's going on?
I thought he left the building.
Yeah, exactly. And then they decide to go for it on 4th and 3, and that's when of course the pass interference happens. That's not called, but that was a play where Lamar had a chance to go up the middle, and he could have gone for 20, 25 yards easily. So, I mean, that's a play there when you want Lamar to kind of dig into his old self a little bit and sort of find that extra gear. He just seems hesitant to do that. It's almost like they're telling him to just throw the football, stop running the football as much. And maybe they have been saying that. I don't know what they do behind closed doors, but they just did not execute across the board. Justin Tucker missing a very long field goal, which we've grown.
I thought it was gonna, like, on TV. It looked like it was gonna hit.
Yeah, I was sitting in the opposite.
I was just about to ask you if you were sitting.
Yeah, so it looked dead on where I was sitting too.
Yeah,
but I was surprised how short it was. But you know, it's early. I think they'll be fine. Lamar's still trying to work with these receivers. Zay Flowers made a couple of nice plays, and Nelson Aguilar as well. Those guys are going to have to step up, especially now because Rashad Bateman got hurt in the game too, which he's always hurt. So,
and Odell's already hurt.
Yeah, he's already hurt. So it's like all this stuff. It just piles up. So I think the defense has played it very well. They could have made a couple more plays late in this game, but they had their backs against the wall all day. I mean, they punted so many times, and the Colts had such good field position and so many opportunities. So I think with all that being said, the defense I thought was generally pretty impressive. So it's definitely frustrating. This was a game the Ravens had to win, but now they really have to win. They got the Browns coming up. I know we're going to talk about that game, and hopefully they can find some mojo on offense because they're just flat. I mean, they're flat on offense completely. So I hope they get some guys back this week at practice. I haven't had a chance to look today to see if the injury list seems to be growing rather than shrinking. So I don't even know who's on it now. So, I mean, my takeaway is I'm not concerned yet. If this were week 12 or 13 and they lost to a team like the Colts with their backup quarterback in there and pretty much no momentum at all, then I'd be very concerned. Now, if we get to 2 weeks down the line and they keep playing this way, especially on offense, I'm definitely going to be worried, especially because the AFC North, everyone else continues to win. The Bengals have continued to ugly win. Pittsburgh kind of the same way. Cleveland, I think, has been the surprise for me so far that they've played as well as they have. But I know we'll talk about that as well. But yeah, the Ravens generally just didn't do the little things well in this game that you have to do to win, and just too many dumb mistakes, and the 2 turnovers very costly as well.
So was it fun in the rain, or was it sort of?
Well, it's really the early part of the game was the only time it rained. It was either barely raining, like misting, and then I think in the second half it pretty much stopped. So the heaviest rain was before the game.
So it wasn't too inconvenient for you.
No,
okay.
No, it was nice, and I was there with my parents, my siblings. I haven't gone to a game with them in I don't know how long, so it was really cool to be able to go there with everybody and enjoy a game, even though it was tough to watch at times.
Mm-hmm.
But I know the team down the road in Maryland had a much harder time in their game, so
yeah, just casually drop that in there.
I took some solace in that a little bit, just a little bit. So
oh my god.
Now the Rams let me down. The Rams just let me down the other night, man. I know we'll talk about this, but never betting with them again. I know we didn't.
Just saying, out of all our teams, our main teams, because Kansas City's not my main team. They're my secondary. We all lost this week.
That's right. It was tough for all of us.
Week 3 was a brutal week for all 3 of us.
Yep.
That it was. Yeah, it's still a fun environment. Great place to see a game. Easy in and out, which is really good. So definitely going to try to get up there again this year. We'll have to see what we can do.
Lions.
What's the date on that game? You know, off the top of your head?
Like the beginning of November, so it might be a little bit of a stretch, but
man,
we'll discuss this off here. We'll discuss this off here.
Yeah,
it's a fair conversation.
But I don't really have much to add. You sort of touched on it all, but I mean, Lamar Jackson, his running style, it sort of scares me.
What do you mean with the way he holds the ball or something?
Yeah, wait, what?
The way he holds the ball, the way he just runs amok. Like, he's getting positive yardage. There's nothing wrong with that, but it just looks like he's running in a way where somebody can awkwardly hit him and then he gets hurt.
It's kind of the way he's always run. I think one thing he's done differently.
But hold on, that's not a new concern, Kirby. Like that's something that's something that's been talked about since he started in the league.
Yeah.
You're not bringing anything new to the table in this conversation.
Yeah, I know that, but still, I've just noticed it a little bit more in this game.
Well, I think one thing he hasn't done as well that he did, especially the year he won the MVP, because he was just either players couldn't tackle him, they couldn't catch him, or he was able to get out of bounds or get down and not take a lot of hits. He's taken a lot of unnecessary hits with some of these runs. But I mean, he got hurt last year in the pocket, so it's not like he was running and recklessly running like we've seen a certain Buffalo Bills quarterback do on occasion where he barrels into defenders.
Yeah, but he's built like a linebacker though, so he can take that kind of punishment.
Yeah, but even still, it's not always the smartest strategy.
It's not ideal, but
doing that. Yeah, but no, I agree with you, Kirby. I think I gasp every time he's hit. Of course, I think any team that has a star quarterback is going to do that anyway. You're just like, oh man, every time they go down. But
Patrick Mahomes, in which he's going to play through anything.
Well, within reason, I'd say that's fair. Yeah, I think it's a concern, but it's not something that that he does differently than any other running quarterback or any other quarterback who's mobile. I mean, seems like they all do about the same thing. So, he needs a better offensive line is what he needs. He has to run for his life.
Because if he is his starting center and his starting left tackle, that line is pretty solid and gives him protection. We saw it. To bring the Dallas Cardinals. That was one of the big issues with the Cowboys. They had
same thing.
They had 3 guys out on our starting line, and it definitely affected how Dak Prescott operated in the pocket. We were missing our starting center and our starting left tackle as well, and our starting right guard. So, I think the center and the left tackle are the most important line
anchor positions. Yep, you're exactly right.
So the Colts over the Ravens, 22-19.
I got to give the Colts kicker a shout out too. He was Matt Gay. He was great in this game, man. Every time he lined up, it was like right down the middle, and he got all of their points.
He outkicked the GOAT. He outkicked the GOAT somehow.
The GOAT struggled this game, but
it's fine. I'm not worried about Justin Tucker.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
It's a 6. He didn't really miss by that much, did he?
It hit the bottom of the crossbar or the bottom of the crossbar. So I don't know.
If he
3 or 4 yards.
If he had 2 tries to make it, he would have made it the second try.
Yeah, because he got under it too much.
Yeah,
it's like when you're on the driving range and you get under it and top the ball.
Speaking of kickers, that Saints kicker, did you hear his press conference afterwards by chance?
No.
You didn't?
Who actually listens to a press conference with a kicker?
The kicker.
But listen, the way he went about it.
Go on.
He handled it well. He said everybody did their job, and the reporters asked a fair question in terms of, do you think you pulled it?
What's the question, Kirby? What's the question?
That was funny. That was funny. I got it. But seriously, he was like, I don't really know for sure with the heat of the moment, but he was like, yeah, I have to watch the film, but everybody did their job perfectly. So, I mean, it was a tough situation for that young kicker who pulled that field goal against the Packers, and the Packers ended up winning. But his responses were
one of my picks. Surprisingly, I still don't know how the Packers came back in that game.
I don't know either, man. I don't know either. It hurt.
Ultimate choke by this.
Hey, listen up though. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are breezing around the rest of week 3.
Would you say we're swiftly going through week 3?
We'll be right back. For sports fans living in condominium and homeowners associations, as well as business professionals, when you need a reserve study, PM Plus Reserves has been in business since 1990. Their studies are accurate and easy to understand. Check them out when your association needs a study. www.pmplusreserves.com. You can also contact them at 703-803-8436. Once again, www.pmplusreserves.com. Is it finally time to upgrade your home's interior? How about with an authentic farm table made locally from recycled barnwood? Shenandoah Primitives, based right here in Winchester, Virginia, makes farm tables, benches, tables, coffee tables, and a long list of other items for your home decorating needs. At Shenandoah Primitives, function and style are combined for great furniture that will last generations. If you're interested in combining the industrial look of metal with wood, or considering something incredibly unique with a live edge, Shenandoah Primitives turns those ideas into reality. Thinking about a mirror, wine rack, or other accent piece for your home, Shenandoah Primitives can assist with that as well. As a local small business, Shenandoah Primitives is happy to work with each client for a custom design or schedule an appointment to come out and view current inventory. Local, high-quality, handmade items can be found at Shenandoah Primitives. Find us on Facebook and Instagram, or visit us at www.shenandoahprimitives.com. Once again, that's www.shenandoahprimitives.com.
Hey, sports fans. Thank you for listening to and supporting the Kirby on Sports podcast with founder and host Josh Kirby, along with lead contributor Dan Dembski. Like, subscribe, and give them a 5-star rating wherever you get your podcast from. My name is Dr. Dave Miles, founder of Dr. Dave Leadership Corporation. Our company helps leaders build engaged and productive teams. Exclusively for listeners of the Kirby on Sports podcast, you can take an opportunity to discover your primary communication style and learn more about effective communication with others. Text Kirby to 757-903-0743 for your free copy of the Working From Home Communication Assessment, where you'll learn your primary communication style, how to better communicate with others not like you, and tips on working remotely based on your personal communication style. 10 minutes, tons of resources. Learn about yourself and your team. Again, text Kirby to 757-903-0743 for your free assessment report today. I'm Dr. Dave Miles, founder of Dr. Dave Leadership Corporation, where we help you and your team be more engaged and productive by understanding each other better. Back to you, Josh.
All right. Welcome back. I got the weapon right across from me in studio.
Why do we have to shake hands?
Studio K, the Kirby on Sports
Studio
podcast.
K. All right.
Yeah.
I forgot that's what it was called.
Studio K.
I'm in the inner sanctum here.
Yeah. Deep in an underground bunker in an unknown location.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, it's not like an incel. What the hell? No.
No, it's I just came up with that off the top. In the Swiss Army knife, Carlos Martinez, as always. It's now time for the very exciting time of our show where we breeze around the NFL, and
you know he's got to say it. Just say it, Carlos.
No, I already said it once. I can't use the same pun twice.
Well,
okay?
we're just gonna get it out of the way. Carlos's heart's desire as the Chiefs destroy the Bears. But that was not the biggest story on the table.
It was not the
Taylor
biggest story.
Swift was at the darn game sitting next to Donna Kelsey. Carlos's heart was pouring out in front of the TV because Taylor Swift was cheering very loudly. And I think the secret's out. Carlos, go ahead. Just talk about it.
She was eating ranch. No, that wasn't.
Actually, it was homemade vinaigrette sauce that she brought.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a.
How do you? I'm not even gonna ask. I'm not even gonna ask.
I'll answer the question. I'll answer the question, Dan. How do I know? A person who does like a whole. He's like very into Taylor Swift. He was on the Bill Simmons podcast. He brought it up. That's the only way I actually know. Had I not listened to that part of the episode, I would have never known that it was a homemade vinaigrette sauce thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yes. I don't think you boys understand how happy I have been for the past 48 hours post game.
See, like what the annoying part, every time they talked about Kelsey or something, they panned the camera shot right to Taylor Swift.
She's the biggest pop star in the world.
And
Travis Kelce just bagged that. He shot his shot. I saw it happen. I witnessed it from the jump. I can say I've been part of this love story. Okay? I witnessed him shoot his shot on the podcast on New Heights. He shot his shot there. And the moment he brought it out that he wanted to meet her, that he wanted to see her at the concert, and she basically denied him because she doesn't meet up with people before or after the show because she has to save her voice.
That is smart.
The moment that was put into the universe, I knew it had to happen. It had to. Look, I'm wearing, out of respect for my man, the 87 Super Bowl jersey from the Kansas City Chiefs. I am so happy. I want this to work out so well. This is my brain can't even function when I think about how much I want this to work out, because I love Travis Kelce. I love Taylor Swift. I'm obviously a big Swiftie. Some people actually don't know that. I'm a big Swiftie. Okay. And my two worlds are colliding in the most beautiful way possible. And I'm here for it.
So how could
you not love it? It's love after
I have a few questions. Is this official?
Look, I mean, they're hanging out, they're dating, they're trying to get to know each other. It's not like they're an official couple. They've hung out a couple times. Some people were making the theory that this is the first time they were actually meeting in person. It was not. They have hung out a couple times before. This is just the first very public one.
Yeah, it would be odd if she was hanging out with his mom without ever meeting him to begin with. Just saying, that would be
honestly
odd.
the most. I mean, Donna.
That
Kelsey,
was the funniest part.
What God bless that woman, Donna Kelsey.
Donna Kelsey's a treasure. We must protect her at all
she's
costs.
a national treasure. Protect her at all costs.
Protect her at all costs. I agree.
My next question: did Travis actually rent out a restaurant for Swift and the rest of the team?
Yes.
All right. I saw that. I wanted to make sure it was confirmed per Carlos
Sources.
And whoever source.
It was Adam Schefter. He reported that this. Yeah.
It was Adam Swifter.
And
that was pretty good.
Travis's outfit, obviously, that was an interesting choice, but
he's a fashionista, man.
And a convertible. The
convertible Camaro.
All right.
He's part of the Camaro gang.
All right.
That's right.
So,
the Camaro gang. That's
hey,
right.
I got all the info I need, but wait, I have one more thing.
Okay.
I have one more thing.
One more question.
It was absolutely off the cuff. Travis wanted that ball for the touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just right there. Patrick started the man.
He apparently went rogue and ran his own route. Listen, the whole game, I was like, When is Travis scoring? Travis needs a
At least
touchdown.
one.
Patrick Mahomes, best freaking wingman in the game, man. Best wingman in the game.
It
Okay.
seemed like Swift was excited every time they scored, not just Kelsey. But
Yeah, of course. But I mean, look,
she's a football fan. Pretty sure.
We're converting her. We're converting her to her red era, okay? Because she's a self-proclaimed Eagles fan.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Odd.
Come to the red. Come join the Red Kingdom, baby. The Chiefs Kingdom is here for you.
It's not a bad team to root for if you're going to become an NFL fan. I got to agree with that.
Loving Travis Kelce is red.
Hey, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny because there is a Kelsey
Full
and
of
the
puns.
Swift on the Eagles too.
Yeah, everybody saw that too.
At that point, we were kind of already like, okay. Now we're like, it was funny. I mean, it was funny. Don't get me wrong, it was funny, but it was just like, all right, let's get back to business here.
The funniest part of this whole ordeal is Bill Belichick's comments on the matter.
He's a Swiftie. He's been impressed by Taylor Swift for years.
That is true. That is true.
Like
that
her
is,
first concert at Foxborough at Gillette Stadium was in the pouring rain, and I'm pretty sure when she was there again this time for the Eras tour, it was in the pouring rain again. And she just goes out there and she puts on a great 3-hour show.
She kills it every time. Yep, no question.
And now she's about to come out with a major movie, and your boy's going opening night. Well, not opening night. I'm sorry. I'm going Saturday, but
it's just funny because Bill Belichick never gets animated about anything unless you ask him about the history of football. If you ask him
excited, he got excited about this.
Hey, who's your favorite punter from 1960? He likes questions like that.
Ding.
Or he likes, apparently he likes talking about Taylor Swift. It's just really cool to me. I don't know. Like, to see Bill Belichick come out of his shell is just really cool. Anytime he does, it's like a treat.
It just makes me so happy, dude. I'm just so happy. I want this to happen. I wish them the best. Travis is the perfect candidate out of the NFL world for this role. He's the perfect candidate.
If you think about it, probably so. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Other than Taylor Swift being at the game, the Chiefs won and the Bears just look awful.
Like the Bears.
Do we want to touch on the Bears just being in an? I mean, bro,
they're dumpster fire. God. They're completely a dumpster fire.
Yeah, this reminds me of the old Washington organization and the last regime for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, the Justin Fields experiment. They need to send Justin Fields somewhere else to a competent coaching staff.
And their defensive coordinator just resigned.
Yeah, after getting raided by the FBI.
FBI. Yeah, that's wild.
People are saying that was false. I'm hearing stuff from both sides saying, oh, they got raided, when people are like, oh, he didn't get raided, because I saw a note somewhere saying he
resigned regardless.
But there's something fishy going on there. And not all the details are straight, but I mean, a defensive coordinator resigning 3 weeks into the season, sticking that on Matt Eberflus. I mean, the Bears
is a mess too.
Have you guys gone back and looked at like the last 7 Bears coaches?
They've all stunk.
Lovie Smith
is the only one that was good.
The only competent guy. They fired him when they went 10-6. They fired him when he went 10-6. It's like,
why would you do that?
They did also have John Fox as a coach at one point, but this is John Fox past his prime.
Yeah, this is old John Fox. Yeah,
but they had Mark Trussell, something like that. Tressman.
Yeah, because he was a coordinator for the Ravens at one point. He was terrible.
He was like the Ohio State head coach at some point.
He'd been around the league a little bit since when he got to Chicago.
It's just like Chicago, man. Like, how long are you going to ride the '85 Bears thing? Like, you guys, the last time you guys had a competent quarterback was Jay Cutler, and it was for one season. Like, I mean, it's bad, man.
They are a mess of an organization, and the GM is just.
And honestly, it's. I'm glad that they passed on Patrick Mahomes, because they probably would have ruined Patrick Mahomes. They've ruined every quarterback they get.
You know what's funny too? Besides them not doing good in football, they got $10,000 worth of equipment stolen.
They're just a
from
dumpster
Soldier
fire of an
Field.
organization right now. They truly are.
I mean, this reminds me of the dark days of Washington football.
I think it's still going on in a way. They seem to find themselves in the news with something. Not as bad as it used to be.
Not as bad. I know what you're talking about, but still, it's like, but it's not as
you're
bad.
Gonna have to explain, you're gonna have to really explain that lawsuit to me off air, because I truly don't understand what's happening.
I don't, dude. I don't know. I just watch the team. Hope they win.
Here's my simple
explanation. Josh Harris on the sideline being a competent owner in the NFL.
Here's my explanation. People need to move on. That's all I have to say about that. People need to move on.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk about this off air. We'll talk about this off air.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it off air.
It's kind of
back to the other racist team.
Here's the third part of the Chiefs-Bears game. Matt Nagy was probably laughing so hard deep inside.
Well, that was his former team.
I know. It must have been.
He lit him up.
Matt Nagy for the Chiefs. Got it done.
He had to feel good after that, especially because he was like, he probably feels like they set him up to fail there, which they've done with every coach since Lovie Smith, and they also helped Lovie Smith fail too. So yeah, that's a sweet piece of revenge for sure. And he made the smart move, joining the Chiefs staff as well.
Coming back, because he was the
original. Was there originally.
Yeah, he was the offensive coordinator before he went to Kansas City, or I'm sorry, before he went to Chicago.
With was that before? That was before Mahomes, correct? That was when they had Alex.
Yeah, so they had Alex. So he was the offensive coordinator Mahomes' rookie year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and of course Mahomes didn't play. He sat behind Alex Smith, and then he got the head coaching job there in Chicago. Eric Bieniemy got promoted, and so on and so forth.
That's what it was until this past year.
So if you watched that Chiefs-Bears game,
which I did,
well,
I had it on the small TV. I unfortunately had the Cowboys Cardinals on the big TV.
You got to put your main team on the big TV.
Well,
it's just the way it goes.
It's those are the rules.
But honestly, I should have put Queen Taylor on my big TV.
You messed up how I was going to go into that. So the Chiefs absolutely dominated the Bears, and Fox decided, this isn't a competitive game, so they
moved
it to the Cowboys Cardinals, where we're going to next. But obviously, I mean, the Cowboys, I mean, all joking aside, that just did not look like a good performance.
It's not good.
Kirby, hold on. I do have to give you a shout out. You didn't do your "How about them Cowboys" normal post.
Didn't.
I was actually waiting for it. I was actually a little concerned. I was like, is he okay?
He's a classy
what
fan.
happened here?
He's a classy fan on Sunday. Yep. I was waiting for that too, Carlos. I kept checking the group chat. I'm like, where's Kirby? Where's Kirby?
I was like I even went on his Facebook page. I started refreshing it. Like, where is it?
See if it was on there. Did I miss something? No, you actually didn't do it.
Is he okay? Is he alive?
Well, that one comment, I just said my Sunday went from very crappy to slightly all right now.
Yeah. But Dallas lives rent free in your head. I told you that.
The Cowboys defense caused me issues losing my fantasy game this week. So
you keep bringing up your fantasy team.
Not about your fantasy team.
As if we give a damn about.
Yeah,
but. Carlos, I want to start defensively, and we'll get your thoughts, obviously, too, Dan. But defense, do you think Trayvon Diggs being out played a factor in that? Or
it definitely does. It definitely plays a factor. But I think it was just Dallas came out flat. I think that they just started kind of, drinking their own Kool-Aid. I think they really thought that this game was just going to be easy. I think I think they were just buying into the hype of, we're the historic defense and all that stuff. And, losing Trayvon Diggs sucks. It really did. I literally fell asleep, took a nap, woke up to a text from Kirby, sharing that he's got a torn ACL. And I was like, what world did I just wake up in? Like, what the heck? What just happened? Like, everything was fine. Why can't we have nice things? Look, Dallas is... we're 3-3 going to State Farm going there to the Cardinal Stadium, and we know how their field is. It's very slippery and stuff. I'm not blaming the field for why Dallas lost at all, unlike the Eagles, who like to blame the field for why they lost the Super Bowl. Yeah. For those that are listening, I'm wearing a Travis Kelce Super Bowl jersey, so it has the the Arizona Super Bowl logo on the jersey, and I just kissed it.
It probably took forever to get here, like you mentioned.
Yeah, it took 3 months. It took 3 months. I bought it the night that they won the Super Bowl, and it didn't show up until the end of May.
That's just nuts. Oh my God.
Anywho, back to the Cowboys though. Back to America's team. It's. I mean, this was the game that really showed a lot of Cowboys fans' insecurities about this team. In terms of like, we know that every year there's always one game where it's like it's obvious Dallas should win this game, and they somehow botch it. This was the one game that Dallas definitely should have won. And this game is going to haunt them the whole season. I feel like they're going to constantly be chasing this game, because now they're behind on the Eagles. We're coming up on a tough stretch here. We got the Patriots, which, sure, they're not necessarily, the best team, but it's a Bill Belichick coach team, so they're going to be well prepared and ready. They're going to have a good game plan against us. It's going to be a battle to win this game coming up, and then we go to San Francisco. Like these next 2 weeks are going to be absolutely insane. And for me, it was just scary seeing how, the last 2 weeks prior to this game, it was all defense, and we didn't need to see a lot of the offense. But I think that was kind of the wrong approach to take, of kind of going conservative with the offense, because now when we needed the offense, they couldn't execute in the red zone. And our red zone offense was something I was concerned about last week. That I didn't want to put too much on, because I was like, look, we were ahead by much. We didn't need it. But in reality, I think Dallas needs to take every game super seriously. And even if we're dominating, like we need to have that killer instinct, and we can't be conservative running these weird plays, that aren't going to work in the red zone. Like we need to get points. We need touchdowns, not field goals. Well, this team is too talented to only put up what they put up, 16. If I remember, I don't even remember the final score of the game, honestly. It's like, and Dak
28-16.
Yep.
Yeah, and Dak, he needs to be better, man. But I'll give him I give Dak grace, because the offensive line was super depleted. We're rocking with, 3 guys who, aren't starters, and when you got, basically 2 Hall of Famers and a Pro Bowler out, like that hurts. The penalties were killer, man. This was like a 2021 Dallas Cowboys team, where, yeah, sure, they were 12-5, but the penalties killed us every game, and the penalties definitely killed us in this game. Dallas, I'm not with other Cowboys fans where they're like already like, this team sucks, we're not going to accomplish anything. I'd rather have this game happen this early in the season, where it gives Dallas a reality check early, and we can quickly correct course and fix it. And I have full faith that they're going to fix it, and we're going to come out a lot better against the Patriots. But
hate to see it.
You'd hate to see it. And that was a legendary game. That was
so awesome.
You're surprised I remember that, didn't you?
So awesome.
I brought it up a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Good wings over there.
Yes. We're not going to spill the secret. It's a secret.
No, it's not. We told him what I re-listened to that episode recently. We said what the place was on that episode.
Carlos, you hate to see it.
You hate to see it. Tom Brady was the only reason why they were successful. I let that guy have it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, those are pretty much my thoughts. Oh, Brandon Aubrey, our kicker, is freaking awesome. Made every kick.
Yeah, I don't have much to add, and I agree. I kind of feel the same way about my Ravens as Carlos feels about the Cowboys. It's like it's early in the season. Like if this kind of loss happens late in the year, then there's time to be concerned. But like I said with the Ravens, and like he said with Dallas, like they have time to get it together. There's still plenty of time.
Week 3. It's only week 3. Like people need to pump the brakes and like not be so like.
Everyone's a hot take artist. Yeah, everyone wants to come out with the.
It's very annoying. It's just very annoying.
Yeah, it is, and it's like instant reaction. It's the end of the world type stuff. At what?
My fault.
It's all good.
A small studio table has its moments, but
yeah, some people don't keep to their own area with their feet. So get out of here.
Oh, he's trying to play footsies. That's cute.
Oh my! I said it was an accident. I'm sorry.
That's so cute.
I'm sorry to embarrass you.
Anyways, yeah, no, I mean we can move on. We've kind of we're not swiftly moving through the league here.
No.
Okay.
We talked
gonna
about our teams. Now let's swiftly move through.
Let's go.
We still have one more team to talk about, but I don't know if we're even going to touch on that.
I mean, defense, secondary stinked. Sam Howell growing pains. O-line needs improvement. It's better to get it out of the way early instead of late. But I'm not sure how the Commanders will look come traveling up to the Lincoln Financial Field, but Sam Howell, at least nobody's calling for his head, being like, "Oh, put in Jacoby."
He got killed out there. That's
but it was the Bills. Like again, like just briefly touch on. Let's briefly touch on this game. Yeah, it was the Bills. Like this is an upper echelon team in the NFL. You guys aren't at that level yet, and I think it was a good barometer to see where you guys are at. Sure. You guys definitely have room to improve. It's early in the season, so it's like, okay, I wonder what this game is. If let's say like there was a possibility of a rematch, right? The only way you guys would rematch is in the Super Bowl, and that's not happening. But like, let's say you guys played this team again, like later on in the season. I feel like it might be a different game because you guys have gotten a feel for them. Yada, 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 yada. I think Washington's very talented. I think they just got to put the pieces together. Sam Howell just needs to perform. You'll be okay.
Growing pains. Young quarterback, growing pains. But that one interception where he just took it right out of his...
Wilson.
Yeah. But that one interception where he took it for 6, I'm like, throw it a little bit higher over the guy. But,
He'll get there. That's the other thing. People have to temper their expectations. He's not going to come in and be an all-pro quarterback immediately.
At least we didn't get shut out. The Commanders didn't get shut out.
I mean, yeah, you're looking for positive storylines. That's definitely one of them. I'd say for sure. Yeah, I don't have anything to add. I think you guys covered that well. I was just surprised it was maybe not. I mean, it was more lopsided than I expected. I knew that Bills were gonna probably have their way.
I mean, I had the Bills winning, but I didn't think they were gonna dominate like that.
Yeah.
I will note one thing. I feel like the play calling more pass happy. They need to stick to the run because you look at Robinson,
baby, he's still
70
trying to figure out
yards.
what he has. He's still trying to figure out what he has. He's used to Patrick Mahomes. You got to understand he's got growing pains too.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Other scores: the Browns manhandling the Titans 27-3. That
Titans should have stayed on the bus for that one. That was rough.
Yeah, Deshaun actually didn't have a bad performance in this game.
He played really well.
He played really well.
Absolutely.
I hate to see it. I literally hate to see it.
The Lions beating the Falcons 20-6. The Lions getting back on track. Good win for the Lions.
Yeah, good win. And the Falcons are, I don't know. I can't decide what they are.
The Kyle Pitts thing about it is very sad to me because that was supposed to be a generational talent, and they're completely they're just not using him at all. Trade him to Dallas. Bring Kyle Pitts to Dallas.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yep. Surprising game here. The Texans defeating the Jaguars 37-17.
Yeah, it was a great game for
CJ Stroud was awesome in this game.
Stroud, yeah.
CJ Stroud was great. He's gonna be good. We saw
280 yards.
We saw his potential. We saw how high his potential can be when he played that game against Georgia in the semifinals last year. Right? Yeah.
Yes.
I think he's gonna be a good quarterback in Houston and for Jacksonville, man, bro. What is going on over there? They only played one good quarter against the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
They played terrible against the Chiefs, and that was a game that was there to be won. And now this, like, you're losing to the Texans. Like, you guys are supposed to be this like up and coming team that's going to compete, in the playoffs, and you can't even beat the Texans. Like, what are we doing here?
Here's Jacksonville's first 5 drives. You ready for this? Missed field goal, punt, blocked field goal, punt, fumble.
No, my God.
Brutal.
Yeah, brutal.
Absolutely brutal start. You deserve to lose if you're going to start a game like that. So
yeah,
man.
The good thing for them and for everybody else, it's still early, but you're kind of right, Carlos. This is supposed to be a different season for the Jags. They were supposed to be a lot of people had them getting pretty far into the postseason.
Dude, the AFC South is god awful. It's
really bad. Yeah,
it's so bad.
It's there for the taking, like we said at the start of the season. So,
well, now the Jacksonville Jaguars are becoming the London Jaguars for the next 2 years. Or 2 weeks.
Right.
2 years. Jesus. 2 weeks.
Yeah. The London Jags.
All right.
That's awesome.
Moving on.
I kind of like it.
The
London Jags, mate.
The London Jags.
The London Jags. All right. Moving on. This was a very competitive matchup. The Dolphins 70, the Broncos 20. Wow.
The Dolphins scored every 6 minutes, by the way. Every 6 minutes, the
most points scored since who knows how long.
I think it was the second most points scored.
Yeah, the second most points
ever.
all time. 72 is the all time. So if they would have kicked that field goal, they would have had the all time record.
Everybody wanted to kick that field goal. Mike McDaniel
for some reason was like, you know what? I used to be the ball boy for Denver. I'm gonna cut him some slack.
He's such a strange guy to me. I don't know.
I like Mike McDaniel. I think he's cool.
70 to 20.
Cool.
That's just crazy.
He's definitely different. I think I like it that way.
The Dolphins are a problem, dude. And think about this. They are doing this, and they don't even have Jalen Ramsey yet. He doesn't come back until mid-season. This team is only going to get better. Put your money on the Dolphins to make some noise. The most interesting game will be in Germany when they face the Chiefs.
Oh, good. That's a good one. Good one to highlight.
Well, look at the other hand, losing 70 to 20, the Broncos.
Just tear it down.
Hey, Kirby, next question.
That was funny. Dan, would you have asked a question like that if you were in that press conference?
No, I generally didn't ask questions in the press conference. I sat there and kept my mouth shut, typically, if you really want to know.
There you go.
I had nothing interesting to ask. I'd probably just make a fool of myself.
I just can't believe 70 points. That's just...
Broncos are terrible. Broncos are terrible. It's time to tear it down. Russell Wilson failed. Sean Payton failed.
I don't think you blame Russell Wilson, bro. I really think it's just this defense. This defense is bad. It's really bad. Patrick Surtain got completely...
It is historically bad. I don't
embarrassed. But granted, he was up against Tyreek Hill, and everybody looks bad against Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, that's also fair.
They didn't have Jalen Waddle in this game, and they put up 70. Imagine if they had Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, let me. I just want to look. I didn't see Russell Wilson's final stat line.
Wilson.
22 of 38, 306, a touchdown, a pick. So.
Yeah, you see, like, to me, like, Russell Wilson actually didn't play. He doesn't play terrible. Like, he's been playing pretty consistent, actually, surprisingly. It's more of the defense that's, like, really letting this team down.
Mm-hmm. And giving up 726 yards. That is almost impossible to say.
Unreal.
I mean, that's just insane.
I mean, the running back had like 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. They had Mostert had 3 on the ground. I think he had a receiving touchdown as well. Yep, because he was on my fantasy team, so he got me of my positive fantasy team, unlike Kirby's.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, had me 41 points or something.
Jesus.
Yeah, he just feasted, absolutely feasted.
I did not see this. I knew the Dolphins would win, but I did not see them blowing them out like this, 70 to 20. That's embarrassing, dude.
It's really bad. And the Broncos, this could be the game of the century. Broncos and Bears coming up this Sunday.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be must-watch television right there.
Put it in prime time so everyone can see it.
No, because in prime time they got Patrick Mahomes against Zach Wilson. You know, Patrick Mahomes and the guy that they projected to be like Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my.
Sunday Night Football. I mean, look, obviously I'm going to watch. Yeah, and also, it's in New York. Guess who lives in New York? Taylor fucking
Swift.
Freaking Swift.
She does.
All right, moving on.
The
Patriots and the Jets. Patriots beat the Jets 15-10, extending their winning streak over the Jets.
Bro, move on. I don't even want to talk
that
about
one.
This.
That's a crappy
Andy
one.
Dalton gets the start in a Panthers uniform. The Seahawks beat the Panthers 37-27. Relatively close game, but the Seahawks prevail with the win. Obviously,
I have nothing to say about that game, honestly.
Oh, this is my favorite one.
Okay.
The Steelers and the Raiders.
Oh, I wanted to die. I wanted to die watching this game. It was brutal.
Dude, hey, Sunday Night Football, Carrie Underwood was in attendance.
And nobody gave a damn. Nobody gave a damn that she was there.
They invited her into the trailer to watch the Sunday night anthem.
And again.
All day for Sunday night.
Nobody cared because all everybody was talking about was the other pop star.
Yeah, but still, Carrie Underwood being there for Sunday Night Football, it was like, that's incredible.
You put a lot of weight on that. I was not like wowed.
But
I think
love Carrie Underwood though.
Yeah, I think she's pretty great. But yeah,
I'm not saying I'm not talking about her music. Carrie Underwood is freaking amazing. She's very talented. She's super talented.
She was not the story. She was not the story on Sunday. Yeah.
She was not the blonde pop star everybody was talking about.
Yeah.
So Steelers 23 over the Raiders 18, and then the Monday night doubleheader.
Hold on. I have something to say.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Jimmy Garoppolo sucks. All right, next game. He is so bad.
You guys missed my pun. I'm upset.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said Jesus take the wheel. This game was insufferable.
Yeah, it was really bad. Jesus take. Oh, that was good, man. That was good. Yeah, the Raiders just hurt themselves so often. It's like, what are you doing? Like this game should have not have even been this close. The Raiders made a late push there in the fourth quarter, but yeah. I don't know what to think about Pittsburgh either. I don't know whether to be concerned with them or not. I know that their defense is pretty still pretty decent for the most part, but yeah, I'm not confident in Kenny Pickett moving forward. So I don't know. And the Raiders stink.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this game.
Yeah. Garoppolo makes me so mad. I'm like, oh my God.
And we are looking at the two Monday night games, Eagles over Bucks 25-11.
Can we stop with two Monday night games? I can't do it. I cannot do it. Monday night should be just one game. That's Monday Night Football. That's the only game that should be on. I don't want to have to keep flipping back and forth to figure out what's happening in two games. I can't Sunday ticket this thing and put two screens. I'm not doing it. Like I'm
totally agree,
exhausted
Carlos.
Sunday. I'm exhausted having to try to keep up with 16 games when there's no bye weeks. Okay? It's insufferable. I can't do this. We don't have a doubleheader this week, right?
No. Single header.
We're done. And I think the Manning cast comes back.
The Manning cast comes back too. That's what we were missing.
They should just do that all year. I don't know why they do. Carlos is right. The doubleheader is stupid. And the Bucks Eagles game, it wasn't competitive from the start.
That was a game that did not need to be on Monday Night Football.
Yep, agreed. And Kirby rolled the dice.
Yep, I rolled the dice and failed.
He bet on a baker with the last name of Mayfield.
And the Bengals over the Rams 19-16.
Yeah,
Revenge!
This game was a yawner as well.
It was. It really was.
Neither of these offenses could get going. I was waiting for
we know Burrow hurt calf.
Always an excuse. I'm just kidding.
We know Matthew Stafford, no weapons.
Yeah. Without Cooper Kupp, he's really. I mean, they're one dimensional. I mean, they're no dimensional.
They bet it all on the one season they won the Super Bowl. They literally put everything into winning that year. They got the result, but I think everybody needed to understand that, they were going to really suffer because of all that they gave up,
and they have,
and they really have. They really have. They're like a shell of themselves. I don't even know why McVay is still coaching right now. He had a chance to retire, and he was
going to last year. Yeah, I think this is it for him.
Same thing with Donald. Like I don't like he was also thinking about retiring after the Super Bowl,
right?
And for some reason he decided to come back. I'm like, dude, you should have just left out on top.
Right.
Not saying that he sucks now. He's still a great player. But I mean, what are you like? You're on like a team that isn't going to be competing for anything soon, and like at all.
Yeah, and I think he had 1 sack last night, or maybe he just had a tackle for loss. He didn't have I mean, he's getting older, so he's slow. He slowed down a little bit from what he used to be. So,
yeah.
But I'm not sure what to think of the Bengals. I know they're still trying to find their rhythm. Joe Burrow's been hurt, but like they just don't look right either. Especially with all those weapons on offense and Dan or what is it? Dan or Schlovsky? What's the joke? Or Schlovsky? Yeah, he just kept slobbering over the. Well, they've got all those weapons. They're going to make a play eventually, and I'm like, it hasn't happened, dude. It hasn't happened yet. So, I think they'll find their way. I mean, I would love to say that all the Bengals are going to suck this year, but no, they're going to be fine.
We'll see. Well,
it depends. I mean, that offensive line is still bad. I mean, and he got hit a lot in this game too. So I don't know.
Well, this was a breeze around the league. It took a little bit longer. Always because of Taylor Swift's fault. So just putting that out there. It was Taylor Swift's fault because of that.
You're canceled.
No, I'm just saying it was because of Taylor Swift.
No. You're canceled, buddy. This is now a 2-man show. I actually can't do that because if I do that, then we can't hear Dan.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm glad you figured that out because that would have been disastrous. So I'm glad we.
All Dan would have to do is just turn his mute off and talk off his laptop's microphone, and it would sound like terrible. But
there you go. But hey, I just got to take a moment. Shout out my friends over at Shenandoah Music. The band season is upon us here. They have an easy and hassle-free band rental process for your student. They partner with all the band directors, making sure their instruments are approved for the school band. They have top quality instruments from Yamaha, Ludwig, Smeller, and so much more. And you can rent online at www.shenmusicstore.com. When we return, we bring you our picks for this upcoming week of football. We'll be right back.
Hey, Kirby on Sports Podcast listeners, Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate here. You know, it may seem scary or daunting at first to think about buying or selling a home. Well, look no further. Give me a call, 540-247-1527. There's nothing more than I love to do than help my friends make those transactions fun, interesting, and at the end of the day, productive. Look me up online, iconsells.com, and even better, find me on my podcast, Iconic Talk, with my co-host Megan Eanes on any podcast platform. We will share all the local news about real estate markets and our local community. It's educational. Look us up. We love to help you. iconsells.com, 540-247-1527. Josh, back to you.
Bed bugs. The only thing creepier than thinking about them is actually having them. Trust me, you don't want to have them. Locally owned and operated Barrett Pest and Termite Services can keep you from having bed bug nightmares and infestations. Call 540-340-3922 to schedule your free inspection and consultation. If bed bugs are already in your home, we'll get rid of them so you can rest easy. We also specialize in keeping homes and businesses free of other pests, including rodents and termites. That's Barrett Pest and Termite Services, 540-340-3922.
Hi, this is Mark Peter Lynch with Guild Mortgage. One of the greatest joys in doing business over the last 30 years in the Shenandoah Valley is helping people buy their first home. Buying their first home and putting the keys in their hand at the closing table has brought me so much joy. If you want to buy your first home, a second home, or an investment property, or build wealth through investment in real estate, give me a call. My phone number is 540-247-1527. 664-4700, or you can find me on the World Wide Web at www.marksmortgage.com.
It is time for the best part of the show, the Kirby on Sports PickEm. And Carlos, let's get that graphic up for all our YouTube watchers.
You bring it up. You bring it up.
You want me to? Okay.
Yeah.
So here is the graphic, and we'll get through the picks, but this is for all our YouTube listeners.
YouTube watchers. Sorry. Okay. So after 3 weeks, we have done the impossible and have ended in a 3-way tie. Right now, we all have a 10-8 record. So pretty much we're starting from scratch. We're basically 0-0 here, boys. Somebody's got to win this thing. Somebody's going to pull ahead. And it's not going to be Kirby. Even though Kirby for 24 hours was actually in first place.
Yeah.
But then he decided to bet on Baker Mayfield, like I said multiple times on this podcast thus far, and costed himself first place. Now, our games this week, we will be picking Dolphins, Bills, Lions, Packers, Ravens, Browns, Bucks, Saints, Raiders, Chargers, and Patriots, Cowboys. With that being said, Kirby, would you like to announce your picks?
My picks. It's going to be a close one, but
it doesn't matter who you pick. You're going to lose. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Canceled. He is canceled for once in a lifetime. He will be canceled so I can state my picks. I think it's going to be a close one, Dan. Oh, hi, Carlos. Welcome back. So I think it's going to be a close one, but I have the Dolphins edging the Bills. The Lions, I think they have the upper hand over the Packers. They're going back to Lambeau, and they beat the Packers in week 8, the last week of the season. I think they go in and maybe give Jordan Love some more trouble. The Ravens and the Browns, I have the Ravens in this game. The Saints over the Bucks. I'm choosing the Saints. I think they might have the upper hand this week against the Bucks. Could be wrong, but that might be another close game. Chargers over the Raiders. I'm picking the Chargers, and the Cowboys over the Patriots.
Yeah, so Kirby and I have the same top 3. So I'm picking Miami over Buffalo. I think that's going to be a great game, a shootout to the end. And honestly, I could see it going either way. But the way Miami's playing right now, it's hard to pick against them. Picking the Lions over the Packers, I just don't know with the Packers week to week. I think we've kind of seen that with the Lions here too, to be honest. But yeah, this is going to be I think this is going to be a low-scoring contest. But I think the Lions edge the Packers in Lambeau. Got to pick my Ravens against the Browns. I think they'll bounce back. It's a tough game to pick, and I know that
you're also contractually obligated to take.
I'm contractually obligated to pick the Ravens, regardless of who the opponent is. But if they weren't my team, I would probably have to pick the Browns right now, based on the way that the Ravens have played here recently. They have a lot to improve on, but I think they'll find a way. They seem to bounce back pretty well since John Harbaugh's been head coach in these types of games. Picking the Bucks over the Saints, obviously with the injury to Derek Carr. And the Saints, kind of leaning towards not picking them. Obviously, the embarrassment that took place with the Bucks and Eagles, that's not going to deter me in this game. I think the Bucks will get it right in this game, and they will take care of the Saints. Not picking the Raiders ever again, so give me the Chargers. They've let me down too many times. And I think that probably the easiest pick this week, Dallas over the Patriots. I think Dallas will get it right, and I think they win rather handily. In Big D against Bill Belichick and the Patriots.
Excellent. Fantastic. Great analysis.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I'm going with the Dolphins. That's just what I'm feeling. The trend is Dolphins right now. I think they just have more weapons.
Who cares? You're going to lose.
Yeah, you don't do it right. Hey, you've stolen 2 of my bits within the past 5 minutes. You stole you're canceled and and now the who cares, it doesn't matter. The Rock is talking here. Okay, Kirby, you don't have the same gravitas, the same timing that I do. Okay, you're like the Walmart brand version, and I'm the name brand, baby. Okay, I'm Kraft mac and cheese. You're great value, bro. You are not on the level. Okay,
Man, it's a brutal day for you, Josh Kirby. Damn.
Kraft comparison to great value.
There is a big difference. Have you ever had off-brand mac and cheese? It's god awful.
It tastes like cardboard.
It's awful.
Time of death, 8:23 p.m. Anyways, now that I came back to this after I was so rudely interrupted, rudely.
You're still gonna lose.
Rudely. Okay, Mister, I've 48 pancakes over here.
Come on.
Anyways, I am going with the Dolphins because they have more weapons. And hopefully Jalen Waddle will come back in this game, and that will even increase the odds that the Dolphins have a good game. It is in Buffalo, though, but it's in Buffalo in October. So we'll see with that. I'm going with the Packers over the Lions. I don't know. There's something about Jordan Love that I really like. And it seems like no moment's too big for him, and he's going to find a way somehow. And I really... I'm liking what I'm seeing. Hopefully he gets all his weapons back for this game. Hopefully we see Watson's first game. This is a Thursday night game, so it is a quick turnaround for these guys. So we'll see what happens. I'm going with the Browns over the Ravens. The injuries to the Ravens scares me. Is it going to be raining in this game? Because it seems like that's when the Browns really take over. It's when it's raining in Cleveland.
Let me check.
I don't think it's supposed to, but
what?
The rain.
It's supposed to rain this weekend again?
I don't know.
No,
I don't think so.
It looks sunny right now.
All right, perfect. Awesome. I'm still going with the Browns. Yeah, I mean, I think the way they've been playing also, I think it's just trending more towards their direction. I'm going Bucks over Saints, same reasons as Dan. Chargers over Raiders, same reasons. And obviously I'm contractually obligated to take the Cowboys. And even if I wasn't, I'd take the Cowboys anyways.
Oh yeah. Easy pick, I think, this week.
Welp. Once again, we're partnered with Anthony's Pizza in Stevens City all year long. So we'll post these on our Facebook page. Comment down below. Pick from the 6 games we have. Somebody last week, congratulations to our guy Tanner. He went 6 for 6.
6-0. 6-0. Incredible. Maybe we should have him on the Pick'ems challenge.
Ooh, maybe
Full
not.
Time.
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. Who knows? But anyways, comment
Why?
on
So you can come in 4th place instead of 3rd?
Okay.
You did it to yourself.
Let me finish here. So you have to comment from the 6 games we are picking. And the one with the most, the commenter with the most, will receive a free Anthony's Pizza, courtesy of Anthony's Pizza, Stevens City, Virginia, 161 Warrior Drive in Stevens City, Virginia, with terms and conditions do apply.
Question, though. Real quick, though. Question. Side note, complete side note. Can he win again, or is it a one-time deal?
Yeah, he should be eliminated from the competition.
That will be discussed off air.
Okay. I just want to know the information
at a later date. But that is a good point. That is
what if he wins again this week, though?
Then it's just not fair. He just keeps.
Yeah, that's true. But anyways, it was a lot of fun today. We got a lot of ground covered, and as always,
we had a kick-ass intro. Thanks to your boy. That's how an intro is done, Kirby. That's how it's done.
So for our sponsors, PM Plus Reserves, Shenandoah Primitives, Dr. Dave, Leadership Corporation, Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate, Barrett, Pest, and Termite Services, Shenandoah Music, Mark Lynch with Guild Mortgage, and Don't Sleep Energy Drink, the official energy drink of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Check us out on all social media platforms, all streaming platforms, www.kirbyonsports.com. For the weapon, Dan Dembski and Carlos the Swiss Army Knife Martinez, I'm Josh Kirby. Carlos, send us off.
Oh, I'm getting the outro again? Oh, okay. I'm on the spot. Okay. Week 3 is done. Taylor Swift came and went. But ladies and gentlemen, don't bet against. I had nowhere to go from there. I failed there. I like that.
So long, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another edition. We'll catch you next week.